If Windows 11 feels slow at boot, your PC isn't old, it's blocked by bottlenecks. Boot lag is usually 6 loads stacking at once: CPU, disk, RAM, network, drivers, and startup junk. Today we fix the real causes without registry hacks, booster apps, or deleting things blindly. First, measure the problem so you stop guessing and wasting time on random tweaks. Restart your PC, wait 30 seconds, then open Task Manager and watch CPU, disk, memory. If disk hits 100% or CPU spikes while you do nothing, that's your boot bottleneck showing itself. Bottleneck 1 is startup apps because they steal resources before you even touch the desktop. Press Ctrl Shift Desk, open startup apps, then sort by startup impact. Rule: if you don't use it daily, it should not auto-launch daily, period. Disable extra game launchers, stores, overlay apps, and auto-updaters you open once a week. They love background services, tray icons, and update checks that hit disk constantly. Disable chat apps you don't need on boot, especially ones with multiple helper processes. If you truly need Discord or Teams, keep one and stop the rest from auto-loading. Disable RGB and peripheral suites that run 5 services just to change one tiny lighting profile. Keep the driver if needed, but stop the control app unless you actively change settings. Disable vendor helper apps you never open, like laptop support centers and driver updater dashboards. They schedule scans, pop-ups, telemetry, and background tasks that create a heavy desktop feel. After disabling startup junk, reboot once, because boot impact only changes after a clean restart. Bottleneck 2 is scheduled tasks and background services waking up right after login. Even if you disabled startup, tasks can still trigger at sign-in and act like hidden startup. Open Task Scheduler and check the left tree for vendor folders and noisy updater tasks. If you see tasks for launchers, updaters, or assistant tools, disable the ones you don't need. Then open services and look for duplicate sync tools, printer helpers, and old device services. Don't disable random Microsoft services, but remove obvious third-party clutter you recognize. Bottleneck 3 is storage pressure, because a nearly full C drive makes everything slower. Windows needs breathing room for updates, temp files, caching, and page file activity. Open Settings, System, Storage, and check how much free space is on C today. Aim for at least 20% free on C, or performance becomes inconsistent and sticky. Use Storage Cleanup for temporary files, old installers, and downloads you don't need. Move large video folders, game clips, and huge downloads off C if you have another drive. If your SSD is tiny and always full, that's not a software bug, it's a daily limit. Bottleneck 4 is the drive type in drive health, especially if Windows still boots from an HDD. No tweak beats switching Windows to an SSD for everyday speed and responsiveness. Also check SSD health, because a failing drive can stall boot with retries and timeouts. Use a trusted smart tool and watch for warnings like reallocated sectors or high error counts. If you see health warnings, back up immediately and plan a drive replacement soon. Bottleneck 5 is network and sync chaos, especially OneDrive and multiple cloud tools competing. One moment boot feels fine, then sync starts and your disk becomes busy for minutes. If you use OneDrive, sync only what you need and avoid syncing giant folders. Pause syncing while you work or game, and your PC stops feeling randomly busy. If you don't use OneDrive, remove it from startup and disable its background launch. Also check delivery optimization, because it can use your network and disk in the background. Go to Windows Update, Advanced Options, Delivery Optimization, and turn off sharing with other PCs. Set active hours, so updates don't start heavy work during your normal usage window. Bottleneck 6 is drivers and fast startup, because bad drivers can slow boot or cause hangs. Fast startup can speed boot on some PCs, but it can also cause weird delays on others. Test it. Turn fast startup off, reboot twice, and see if boot becomes more consistent. Update chipset, storage, and GPU drivers from official sources, not random driver packs. If boot issues started after a driver update, roll back once, then test for a full day. Also keep BIOS updated if your motherboard vendor notes stability, memory, or boot fixes. First, fix browser auto launch and background mode because it can chew RAM at idle. In your browser settings, disable continue running background apps and remove heavy extensions. Second, stop indexing huge changing folders because search can thrash disk after login. Remove downloads and constantly changing game folders from indexing. Keep documents if you want. Now reboot and remeasure because the goal is results, not endless tweaking. After boot, open Task Manager again and look for calmer CPU and lower disk spikes. If this still pins at 100%, your next target is background scanning and double security tools. Do not run 2 antiviruses because double scanning fights for disk access and causes stutters. Windows security is enough for most people, and cleaner apps often add load, not speed. For laptops, check power mode because aggressive saving can make boot and login feel sluggish. Use best performance when plugged in and balanced on battery to avoid hard throttling. Also restart weekly, not sleep forever, because long uptime bloats drivers and background apps. Quick recap. Cut startup junk, cut hidden tasks, free C drive space, fix drive limits. Then control sync and update chaos and keep drivers clean and stable. Do these in order, stop when it already feels fast, and don't chase random registry hacks. Comment your CPU, RAM, and drive type, and I'll tell you the best 3 fixes first. Follow for more real Windows fixes that stay evergreen and actually work on normal PCs. And subscribe if you want the next video on fixing 100% disk usage the right way.